I've returned once again. I'm enjoying OBS, not gonna lie. Not going to lie. Hear my breathing. I hate the fact that this is one of the worst things. Oh, the breathing, it's there. Oh, you can hear that quite intimately, can't you? Oh, that is the wrong. Ooh. Ooh, that started 5 seconds ago, but hey, I'm ending. That would be pretty. I think that would be funny. Oh, I know why I think that would be funny, because somebody's done it and it was funny. Hmm. Hmm. That would be why I would think it was funny. That would actually be why I imagine it would be funny. Hey. I have some stories. Some fun ones. Not many. Not a whole ton, but a couple, which is better than none. What I would like is that. Hell yeah. I did entirely forget about that first. But you know what? Wait, I've just realised something. How? Never mind. Never mind. No, don't actually never mind. I'm gonna talk about it. So, sorry about that breath. One of the reasons that I um stopped looking at the viewer number was because somebody else had mentioned it, right? Was because somebody else had brought up the fact that it it was too much for them to know all the time, so they just stopped looking at it. They like turned it off. But here's the thing: I was almost certain that that person used OBS. Yeah, I'm not actually sure they do anymore because the the count isn't something you see automatically in OBS. Not that I can see anyway. Not that. Nah, it's just not. And I just. Hmm. You know, it's. I don't know why that's something that I've grabbed onto, but it is. Right? It is something that I've grabbed onto, and I don't know how to feel about it. No, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not gonna feel about it. I'm gonna ignore it like I do everything else. Ha ha ha. Hon hon baguette. I still love that hexagon is a tag that you can have. What? I don't know what's happening. Sorry, I got incredibly distracted. Anyway, today we are doing Spirit of the North, right? Ooh, can't actually do. No, sorry, I did something else. That's the thing that I was doing. Like, ooh, can't actually do that now, can I? Hello, hello. Oh, please don't start up noise. That would be so awkward. Oh, the thing that I needed to open isn't. Oh, it is open. Okay. Oh, we're gonna save that. Yeah. Why do I have that open? That's the. We could we could do Wordle. I say as I realised that I did Wordle yesterday, like at 10 past midnight. So I've already done today's Wordle. So we actually can't do that. Okay. you. Oh my god, I have a little thing, right, where I like code you're using is invalid. Okay. I have a little thing where I like it's like a tiny little journal thing, but not very serious, you know? And um I like put into it a, just things that I'm like this is important. And then I also have like set things that I'm like did this happen today? Yes or no? Um it's mainly to do with head stuff. Um because I think that's important for me to keep track of. As you can tell, it's not not going great, but every now and then I'll like be like, oh no, this doesn't count for that, and then the next day I'll be like, oh but wait a second, that thing did happen. That thing did in fact happen. How has it been 6 minutes? This is weird. I don't know. I do not know. My desk is a mess again. Like it was fine for a bit, and now there's some deodorant. There's there's snacks. There's like 5 decks of what the what ID login with your Epic Games account? No, no, I don't. I'm not particularly chuffed. Um, I have a fun thing planned for tomorrow that will probably go through. It'll probably happen. I do need to actually set up. Know what? We'll go in here. We'll um edit this. Oh, there we go. Ah shit. Okay, there we don't quite go. We got there and then I went back on it. Um, property. I rename you. Just let me. Okay, it's fine. And we that. We can also one last thing. Hello, Rose. Yeah, there is a fox. It's so cool. That is so incredibly loud. Uh, make that less actually. Oh, okay, there we go. And yeah. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty well. Question: how loud is this for you guys? Because I do not know how loud it is. I am currently unaware. And or can you hear it at all? But yeah. I don't actually know much. I can't hear anything. Okay. 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 Um. Oh, that would be why. I turned the desktop audio down. that that would be the main thing for why. But yeah, there's Unfox. Don't know why I said Unfox. I didn't say fox in the other language. Oh, it tracks my cursor even through other layers. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's the foxy boy down here, and then there's the other fox over there. Yeah. Can you hear things now? Oh wait, I'm not in the game. No, you can't hear nothing. Can you hear things now? I'm a mess. There needs to be a version. Somebody needs to come up with versions of like Take Two Electric Boogaloo, but just for everything else. Yes? Hell yeah. Oh, that is already. Oh, the cursor's laggy. Ooh. I also didn't change the color. Okay. No, we'll wait until the cutscene's over and then I'll fiddle with things. It's fine. Not much has happened recently. Like, school's over. School's done. That's pretty fun. God, that's loud. Yeah. I met up with some people. Rose already knows this. I've finished mostly with the volume is a bit loud. Oh, okay. Give me a second. Put it down to like -28. Wait, actually. Wait a second. Okay, well, you can't hear it because it's like, oh, you're not in the game. How dare you? Yeah, okay, give me a second. Uh, it's you can gauge it again in a minute. Just let me see if I can change something. Setting. That's. Ah. Sorry, I'm just trying to make it easier to read them at like all times, but also not obnoxious. God, that is a shite color. How? Just can't. Okay, that would apparently even the whitest of what? No, that's just blue. It's still grey. Okay, that's why is it grey? Huh? Why is it grey is the real question. Why? Why are you doing this? It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, volume. Yes, no, maybe so. Sorry, I took so long in that the game made the. Okay, God, these Yeah, well, that's something. Graphics quality. No, we can't have high graphics quality. What are you on about? What are you on about? Gonna guess I'm going to this swirl in the sky. Shift doesn't even make you... Wait a goddamn... Oh yeah, shift to run. Shift does fuck all. Shift does nothing. I'm quite frankly offended. What frankly? I'm really hoping this is the direction we're supposed to be going in, otherwise it's a little awkward. That is a leap. That's a leap the fox has on them. But yeah, no, don't know a lot about this game. I'm pretty sure I might know a little bit, but I might also be thinking of a different game. Do foxes actually jump that high? Whee! 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 Ooh, I'm gonna have to pull that out soon. Oh. Okay then. Apparently rock beats fox. If it's of any importance to anybody. In a game of rock, paper, scissors, a fox would lose to rock. But not snow. Oh, that is a human being. Ooh. This is why they wanted the high quality. Hello. That is a fucking dog barking right there. That's not the noises that fox make. Believe they can jump quite high? Okay. I'm just saying, that's not the noise